Now, as a parent, I think the worst news you can ever receive is that one of your children is seriously unwell. Well, my next guest this morning, Brendan Hayes from Bantry, received just such news about his 11-year-old daughter, Rene, and he joins me in studio. Good morning to you, Brendan.
Good morning.
And you're very welcome to studio.
Thank you.
Tell me about Rene and when did you and her mum, when did you first realise there was something wrong with her?
It started off with Rene feeling tired.
Okay.
That was it. There was no other symptoms other than that. She said she didn't want to go to school just after the midterm break. And
this would be October now, just of last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that was strange for her because she does go to school every day. She enjoys school. She goes to school in St. Brendan's in Bantry. So we took her to the doctor and they thought that it was possibly tonsillitis or glandular. It was very unsure because they would see very few cases of leukemia anyway.
But no weight loss, nothing like that? No pains anywhere, just this awful tiredness?
Yeah, that was the first week.
Okay.
In the second week her throat started to swell.
And again you're thinking tonsillitis or something?
At that point we thought mumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a blood test was carried out to rule out mumps, and unfortunately it turned out to be leukemia.
And was it as simple as that? It was a blood test and you were called in and told?
It was a blood test on the Friday, and the white blood cells were significantly raised, and a repeat blood test was carried out and they were higher again. So at that point,
yeah, and not something you're expecting to hear about your 11-year-old daughter.
No, absolutely not. You think I was going with mumps all the time. I thought mumps definitely. And when you hear that, your immediate reaction is one of disbelief.
Yeah,
you're absolutely stunned by it. And for weeks afterwards, I would go around and even saying the word leukemia. It wasn't registering. It was shocking to think of it.
She is your eldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You've other. What age are your other kids?
There's Michael and Clarice. Clarice is 10. Michael is 8.
So you get this diagnosis, Brendan, and what happens? Are you straight into hospital with Rene? What happens?
You're straight into treatment. You see, leukemia is an umbrella term. There are many different types of leukemia, and what Rene has is the type that many children will get. It's the acute lymphoblastic leukemia, ALL. And once that's identified, then the treatment starts almost immediately.
And treatment is both here in Cork and in Dublin, I believe? That's
right.
Okay, so did it start here in Cork at the Mercy first?
No, once the diagnosis was given, we were taken immediately to Dublin within 12 hours.
That's where I take it your whole life turns upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Did both you and your wife go to Dublin, or what happened?
I went to the hospital that day with Rene because I didn't think it was going to be that serious. Amanda was at work the same day. I said, everything would be fine, that I'd look after things. But the following day, I travelled to Dublin with Rene, and her mum came up later on that day. And
did treatment start immediately?
Treatment started. What happens with children who are diagnosed with leukemia is they have what's called a Hickman line inserted in their chest.
Okay.
A Freddy, as it's affectionately known.
Okay.
And once that's in, the treatment will begin.
And this is all in Crumlin Street Children's Hospital?
Our Ladies
in Crumlin. So
and in conjunction with the Mercy Hospital in Cork as well.
So how long did you stay in Dublin initially?
Yeah, we were in Dublin for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm. And talk to me about treatment. What's the treatment like? How does it affect Rene?
Like I say, the first 6 months is quite intense. There are different forms of treatment. There's medication every day in tablet form. And then there are, at present, she has invasive chemotherapy almost 5 days a week. It goes in through the line,
right,
which is it's handy. But like I said, the main blood cells are affected the red blood cells which transport oxygen around the body, they can go down. At one point they can go down to 6. You or I would have a hemoglobin of about maybe 12. So you can imagine you'd be very, very tired. You'd be unable to get out of bed in the morning. Your white blood cells and your neutrophils can go down to 0, absolutely 0, and you're very prone to infection at that point.
That's where I take it she's almost isolated in the hospital, is she?
Oh yeah, it would be an isolated area in the leukemia unit in the Mercy.
Side effects?
All the typical side effects that you see with chemotherapy: hair loss, weight loss, and I suppose she's unmotivated at present. But that will come to an end after a few months. Once she's feeling that bit better, she'll be that bit motivated again.
Does she know what's wrong with her? Have you spoken to her about it?
She does.
Yeah.
From the beginning, the doctors were clear that anything that would be told to me and Amanda as parents would be relayed to Rene as well. She is the patient after all, and she needs to know. I mean, there are younger children there that obviously get it. They're unsure as to what's happening. They know life has changed for them temporarily, but when you're 11 years of age, you're going to be asking questions.
She's in 6th class confirmation year, so obviously she's been out of school since the midterm, obviously now, isn't she? Since this all.
Yeah, prior to midterm.
And what's Renee like? Is she a typical 11-year-old? Is it Jedward and?
Yeah.
Is it all of that?
Yeah, Jedward, Justin Bieber, you name it, all the typical 11-year-old things. Very vibrant girl. She
has her own Facebook page.
Well, she didn't prior to this.
Did you?
This isn't necessarily her Facebook page. It's the fund's page, really.
Right. Okay.
But very vibrant girl. You'd hear her before you'd see her.
Yeah.
Always laughing and joking. Loved school.
She's sporty. She into sports?
Not really.
No. But loves school.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She goes to a small school in Bantry. St. Brendan's has a fantastic school. Great community there. Lovely kids, great teachers, and even her siblings, they really love school.
That's great.
Yeah.
And is she looking forward to that transition into secondary school? Because it's a big transition.
Yes.
Yeah. She's growing up. She's becoming. She's becoming an adult, as they all think when they're in 6th class. And where is Renee now at the moment?
She's at home.
She's at
the
home.
moment.
Okay.
She has a community nurse calling to her now this morning. And tomorrow we'll go to the Mercy, and on Sunday we'll go to the Mercy as well for treatment. And
you're doing that up and down from Bantry, is it?
Yeah.
Or I suppose it's important for Renee. She likes to be at home, does she?
Oh, she does.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this has become such a big part of her life at present that she doesn't really have time to interact socially with anybody else. And that's disappointing. But it is. I mean, if you're going to Dublin, you try to get up there the night beforehand because you have 9 o'clock start in Dublin in the morning, and the day before we were there till 6:30. The week before that we were there till 8:30, and then we come back down to Bantry after that. It's a long trip.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot out of me, but it obviously takes a lot more out of Renee because she's young. And
how are the 2 younger kids through it all?
They're very accepting of it. They miss her, because she is that bit shut off from them really at the moment. She doesn't have the energy to play with them.
And she was their big sister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and ruling the roost, I imagine, with younger siblings. Yeah, as the oldest sibling always does.
But they're reassured that she will be back in business as soon as possible, and then she'll be up for everything again.
How long do you expect treatment to last, Brendan?
Treatment normally lasts for a girl 2.5 years. For a boy, it's 3 years.
Wow. But the hope is that this initial 6 months is the worst. Is the hope that she'll get some kind of normality into her life while the treatment is ongoing, or? Well,
after the 6 months is up, it then, from what I gather so far, because it is quite complicated, obviously, for any parent, but they get in there and do that. Once the 6 months are up, you then come into the maintenance period, which is once a month, and maybe Crumlin every 3 months, something like that. But in the meantime, you can have hospital admissions, which can be completely unexpected.
She'll just get unwell and we'll have to...
Well, if your defence systems aren't there, your white blood cells, you're open to all kinds of infection, and you take her temperature twice a day, and if it's above 37.5 at all, she has to be admitted to hospital. So she can have IV antibiotics to treat whatever infection that may be.
And she's lost her hair, has she?
Yeah.
And is she coping okay with that?
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, is she?
She's accepting of that.
It's tough. It's tough. I imagine Christmas was tricky, was it?
We were home for Christmas, and that was the main thing.
Yeah.
She wanted to be home for Christmas, and her siblings wanted her to be home for Christmas. And we were in hospital for the New Year, but
you were home
Christmas
for Christmas
was the most important.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Now, there's tell me about there's a fundraising account has been set up.
Members of Dunmanway and Bantry came together, and were very kind enough to get a fund off the ground, and it's been very humbling that the community would come together and do this for us. I mean, when it all became known, at the beginning, people were texting, they were emailing, they were calling, and yes, it was difficult, but their kind words, their prayers, their thoughts, you name it, that made every step of this journey so far so much easier. And the fundraising committee that has come around as a result of this, the people that are on board that are fantastic. And the people that have supported so far, it's just amazing to see.
The goodness of people always comes to the surface, doesn't it? When you have something like this going on.
There are many people out there with very warm hearts.
Yeah, and I have a list. There's a variety of different events coming up.
On the 3rd of February, there's a coffee morning cake sale. That's from 10:30 a.m. in the Euro Bar in the square in Dunmanway. The same night, there's a quiz night from 9:30 in the Southern Bar, East Green, Dunmanway. That's affectionately known as Gallies.
Okay.
And on the 10th of February, there's a quiz night in the Cosy Cabin in Bantry, Barrack Street. And on the 26th of February, there's a vintage tractor car bike run. That's starting at 11:30 in Wolftone Square in Bantry. And on the 3rd of March, Gatsby's nightclub Dunmanway from 12 o'clock. Once costs are covered, all of the door takings will go to the fund. So that's very, very generous of all these people. And there will be, I'm told, subsequent events to this.
And I know John Paul has been in contact with the fundraisers, and they'll keep us updated on events, and we'll keep plugging them and let people know that they're on. But in the meantime, Brendan, all we can do is wish buckets of love and luck to all of the family, but continue good help to Rene, because that's what it's all about now, isn't it? It's just to keep her well.
Absolutely.
It's to keep her
well.
And
I'd also like to pay tribute to other families out there that have gone through this. I've spoken to one or two families that are thankfully at the tail end of the treatment now, and it has inspired confidence to listen to their stories.
And great to get hope, isn't it, from other families?
Absolutely. You can hear it from health professionals, but to hear it from families that have gone through this, and to say, look, we made it out the other side. Yeah. It's fantastic. And so will you and the rest of the family. Hang in there. Absolutely. And listen, thanks a million. We really appreciate you coming to the studio. Thank you very much. Good morning to you.